you just give this a chance? I don't know, I think I might be real.
That's the problem, Cathe. I just can't be let down again. What I felt in there, I haven't... What if it's another high? What if it's just another drug? You know? It's good for a minute and then it's gone. What then?
We can find out together.
A couple of the hour, of all people, I was most excited to talk with the two of you. I loved getting to see your story on screen. Talk to me about what it means to finally see Jesus Revolution come to fruition.
Well, this has been like a slow motion run, because 7 years ago I had lunch with John Irwin, the director and writer of the screenplay, along with John Gunn, and directed along with Brent McCorkle. He came with a copy of Time magazine that had that Jesus Revolution cover. He said, I heard you were at this, and you were there, and I want to talk to someone who was there. So that's where it started. Little did I know that he was going to write this movie around my story, Cathe's story, Chuck's story, Lonnie's story. It's all these stories woven together. So and at times I even wondered if it would ever be made, because there were delays and setbacks, and then we're ready to shoot. Like, we had the green light from the studio. COVID hit, shut everything down. But now as I look at what's going on in our culture right now, I think this can be more than a movie. I think this can be a really important message for people to hear that's very needed. This generation of young people, a CDC report just came out talking about how depressed and hopeless they are, especially young girls. That concerns me. I think it's AC Cathe's story, how God changed her, my story as well, that it will hopefully inspire them to say, I want this to happen in my life and in my generation.
Well, Cathe was such an inspiration, and I understand everyone's spoken so highly of you guys being on set and giving great notes as to who she is and what to do. Talk to me about what it was like getting to see the version of you on screen where there's that boldness and there's that conviction. There wouldn't be this today.
I think that part of my story was represented really well by Anna, that when I came to Christ, it was a whole new life for me. And it was based on the fact that I knew there was a God in heaven who loved me. I mean, I was raised in church, but I never understood how personal a relationship with God could be. And that in the midst of all of my wanderings and searchings and distractions, that he was seeking me. And when I finally surrendered my life to Christ and understood what that meant, it was like a darkness to light. It was like a light bulb went on, and I wanted to tell people. And I never doubted for a moment what God had called me to, how much he loved me, and that his promises for me, that he wanted to use me, that I was important. I think people are looking for a sense of worth and identity today. How greater an identity could you possibly be given that God, the creator of the universe, has this personal relationship with you, wants to speak to you, wants to guide your life, wants to use you, has given you gifts to be able to be. So it's like, that part of it was so beautifully done by Anna. She was firm through the whole thing. She knew when she finally followed Jesus, and I believe that was for me too. And when I met Greg, I was certain, when I saw God calling him and him using the gifts that God had given him, that we together were called to be together to pursue this life. And it's been 50 years next February that we will have been married, longer than that than we've been together. And we've been through ups and downs and sorrows and heartaches, and yet God has been with us. And I love the film. It shows the beginning, but the story keeps going, and it's still being written. So
I have to ask you the last question. You do such a great job at telling other people's faith stories. Johnny Cash, Billy Graham, Steve McQueen. Was it as easy for you to tell your own story, or what were the challenges when it came to sharing yours?
Well, those other films are documentary films, so I can be objective and look at their lives. This is different because it's my own life, and it's really seen through the lens of John Irwin, who wrote the story. His sort of interpretation of Greg, right? So there are times on the screen you go, oh yeah, that's me. Other times I think, well, that's sort of a movie-ized Greg, maybe a better version than the real Greg. But it's a surreal experience, I'll say that much.